Good morning, class. Um, Hope all of you enjoyed your day of prayer yesterday and maybe were able to tune in to one of the events being offered by Kellenberg, whether it was Mass in the morning, midday prayer, or evening prayer, um, or Brother Roger and Father Dan saying the Decade of the Rosary, or maybe if you just found some time to relax and maybe spend with the family, that's good too. Okay, tonight for homework, there's an assignment in Schoology titled Chapter 9, Section 1 worksheet. Right, make sure you complete that and get that to me by the start of class tomorrow. Okay, also remember your Chapter 8 test worksheet is due today. We will go over that in the conference tomorrow, so please make sure you submit that into Schoology very soon, as it was due at the start of first period or second period or sixth period or eighth period, whenever you have class. It's due by the start of that class. All right. So if you can take out your notes, we are going to pick up where we left off with Chapter 9 on Tuesday. Some of you are at different parts, so if you have the first slide already, then that we begin with, then you can kind of just fast forward a little bit in the video to where you are in the notes. Okay, and as you hear my daughter, all right, she is with me as I'm making this video, so she might give her input on a couple things in regards to emperors of the Roman Empire. All right, so let us begin. Take out your notes, and we're going to pick up with the Julio-Claudian emperors. Now, there's 4 emperors that come to power after Augustus. They're all referred to as the Julio-Claudian emperors because they had some sort of relationship to Augustus, and therefore historians believe that there's some sort of relationship going back to Julius Caesar. Julius's middle name, okay, was Julio Claudius. That's where Claudian comes from. All right. Now, in the year AD 14, all right, the Roman Empire expanded, all right, to the size that Augustus was able to stretch the empire to. And as emperor, he made a lot of reforms and changes and improvements to the Roman Empire, which we talked about on the last couple slides. But there's one thing that Augustus fails to do. Okay, he never created a law stating how the next emperor would be chosen, which is, very opposite of our government, in which we know how the next president will be chosen every 4 years. Right, there's an election. Okay, we know how the next governor would be chosen. We know how all of our officials or leaders would be chosen. But in Rome, because of this new position of imperator, Augustus never really created a system, all right, so that there can always be a peaceful transition or a new leader to emerge after one imperator passes or gives up his authority. And Augustus did not have a son, so therefore a lot of people were unsure, okay, if it's not going to his son, who's going to be the imperator? And the first imperator after Augustus was a man named Tiberius. Tiberius was a general under Augustus, a very loyal general. He was considered a great military leader. He helped conquer some of the land, right, that Augustus brought under the control of the Roman Empire. Okay, he is a relative of Augustus, and he is the emperor when Augustus dies in AD 14. Okay, and Tiberius is going to rule for a number of years. And one interesting fact about Tiberius that I require everybody to know, and in the past I was asked, by students I've had, Tiberius is considered to be, or not considered, okay, he is the emperor, I'm just going to type it in because it's not there. Okay. He was the emperor at the time of Jesus' death and resurrection. Okay, so if you think of the season we are in now, the emperor that was there when Jesus was teaching for the later half of his life. All right, Tiberius was that emperor, and Tiberius, all right, he was a vicious man. He did not want any threats, right, to his empire. Okay, and Pontius Pilate, who was the proconsul appointed by Tiberius, knew that, which is why Pontius Pilate was not so willing to let Jesus go, even though he really did not see any crime that he wrongfully committed. Okay. After Tiberius, the next emperor is a man named Caligula. I know it's tough to say, but it's Caligula. He's going to rule for like 2 years. All right. He was a very weak emperor. He is considered one of the Julio-Claudian emperors. Okay, both of these emperors are. And some historians believed he had some sort of mental illness. All right, for example, he did some things that were very strange, such as try to appoint his favorite horse to proconsul. Clearly, he had 2 horses. He wanted to make one of them a government official. No, the horse never became a proconsul, but that was kind of a warning sign for some people, like maybe this person isn't fit to be emperor. And eventually, the Praetorian Guard takes matters into their own hand and murders Caligula. All right, and this is the first time in Roman history where you see the Praetorian Guard start to have an influence as to who becomes emperor, and they will do that as time goes on because they're the people that can get closest to the emperor and ultimately, carry out any assassination. Right. And after Caligula, all right, the Praetorian Guard puts another person in charge by the name of Claudius, who we'll talk about on the next slide. Okay, I'll give you a second to copy this down. If you miss anything, you can always go back and watch this video again, or you can pause the video and then copy down with whatever you don't have. So the third Julio-Claudian emperor is Claudius, all right, and he was put in power by the Praetorian Guard. He didn't have much military experience. He was kind of like a puppet emperor. The head of the Praetorian Guard had a lot of influence in the Roman Empire at this time. He basically told Claudius what he should do in terms of military maneuvers or politics or finance or any aspect of governing. The Praetorian Guard had a lot of influence during Claudius's time as emperor. Okay. After Claudius, he has his son Nero. Okay, who was considered to be a very vicious man. All right, he persecuted many Christians, and so did Caligula and Claudius. All right, but Nero is most remembered for persecuting many Christians during this time in Rome. And legend has it that Nero almost was at fault for burning down the city of Rome, and even while the city was on fire. Supposedly, he also played his fiddle, all right, while the city was on fire because he just didn't do anything to act, all right. And Nero, as cruel as he was, eventually commits suicide, okay, for some of the mistakes that he's made. All right, we don't really know why he committed suicide, but his death marks the end of the Julio-Claudian emperors. All right, I'll give you a second or so to copy this down, and then we'll move on to the emperors after, right, these 4 Julio-Claudian emperors. Come here, buddy. Want to come to Dad? So after the Julio-Claudian emperors, there was a brief period of chaos and civil unrest throughout the Roman Empire. Then eventually a proconsul and general of the Roman army takes power after Nero, and that was a man named Vespasian. Okay. Vespasian kind of begins a new dynasty of emperors. You don't need to know his son Trajan and Hadrian. All right, those are also part of this family of emperors. Okay, and he puts down the rebellions going on within the Roman Empire, and eventually, all right, one major rebellion that was going on was in Judea, where the Jewish people tried to rebel against the Roman military. Vespasian, all sent his son with troops, and during that time he destroys the Jewish temple in the year AD 70. Okay, and that Jewish temple, part of it still stands today. It's known as the Wailing Wall. All right, but one of the things that Vespasian's probably most known for, and that people see on a regular basis when they go to Rome, is the construction of the Roman Colosseum. It was Vespasian, who believed in constructing this huge amphitheater in central Rome to serve as a place, a center, for all major gladiatorial events. All right, and if you think of modern stadiums or arenas like Madison Square Garden, Yankee Stadium, or Citi Field, right? Those stadiums were modeled after the Colosseum, right? That started construction during Vespasian's rule in AD 70, and then was finally finished in the year AD 80. So it took about 10 years, right, to build this Colosseum, and you can see the ruins of that Colosseum in the picture there. Okay, you can see the use of the arch. Okay, there were sections within the Colosseum that were supposedly free for spectators. It was like a first come, first served basis. Okay, and this was a huge amphitheater for the people of Rome to go watch gladiatorial events. Watch men fight each other, men fight animals, and so forth. Okay, I'll give you a second to copy this down. All right, but Vespasian brings back that period of peace, the Pax Romana, which kind of continues on during this time in AD 70. Okay, and after Vespasian and his two sons rule, okay, in the 100s, right, there are 5 emperors that come to power, okay, that are considered to be the good emperors. All right, not because they're necessarily good people, because they kind of kept a period of peace. Okay, so 5 emperors come to power, known as the good emperors, and these good emperors, you don't need to know who each of them were, okay, but they are Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, and Marcus Aurelius. All right, Nerva is the first emperor after Vespasian, followed by Trajan, and then Hadrian. Hadrian, fun fact about him, all right, he helped expand the Roman Empire into Britain, and he actually built a wall in Britain, all right, to keep the barbaric people out of the Roman Empire. So he's the first person to, construct a wall for a very powerful civilization. Maybe that's where Trump got his idea of the wall from. Who knows? But you can actually still see parts of Hadrian's Wall that he had built if you were to ever go to Britain, or if you've been to Great Britain today, you probably have seen parts of it. All right, but during their rule, agriculture flourishes, trade increased, and the empire continued to grow. All right, all these emperors supported public building projects. Okay, they built numerous arches to kind of glorify their military achievements. Okay, it was kind of like monuments for themselves. They built bridges, roadways. All right, and he even built up the aqueduct system, which we'll talk more about in section 2. Okay, the only emperor of these good emperors I'm going to ask you to know is Marcus Aurelius. Okay, know that he reformed Roman law, and he's considered to be the last good emperor. After Marcus Aurelius, that's when many historians say is the beginning of the collapse of the Roman Empire, which we'll talk more about in section 3. All right, so I'll give you about a couple seconds to copy this down. Like I said, at any point, if you missed anything, you can certainly pause the video, all right, and copy down those notes. Don't forget to complete that Chapter 9, Section 1 worksheet, which will be in Schoology, and get that back to me by the start of class tomorrow. Okay, I hope all of you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your classes, okay, and look forward to conversing with you guys again on Friday. Okay? And if you have any questions about any of these notes, I can answer them in the conference tomorrow. Alrighty? So I'm going to stop the video here. Okay, we will pick up with section 2 tomorrow. So this is the last slide of section 1. Alright, and then maybe tomorrow I'll give you a preview of what we're going to do to kind of review for the trimester.